Let's go! Today we're breaking down Sam Pittman's trenches. This is his bread and butter. I'm going to talk about the offensive and defensive lines of Arkansas, while at the same time finally getting some one-on-one footage here. Let's freaking go. So this drives me nuts when I see offensive and defensive line drills that don't involve an actual football. And you have even seen it on the thumbnail image of this video. Arkansas does have one of these contraptions, and you don't even need one. You see LSU right here snapping the football just with a student assistant, but this is how I normally like it. A ball on a stick, get as many reps as you possibly can. Now, why do you want to do this? Well, before I tell you, there's a good way you could support us now here on Power Hour SEC by hitting that join button. Yes, for memberships, all our live chats, you'll have a super cool fancy schmancy badge next to your name. And then, of course, there's a higher tier if you really do love me. I do appreciate all the support. And don't forget our live streams every Monday at 5 p.m. Central. So why is it important? Well, in an actual game, you're not going off some random go, right? Not every snap is on go. And what you see is there is a coach behind, and this is Shaq McCroy, the behemoth. We'll talk about him more in a moment, from Oregon. But if you go off go, that's just not how it works in a game. And you'll see that it's on go, all right? So watch this. You can see that Blackstock is trying to guess the go right here. And you can see he kind of budge a little bit before the go, if you will. Obviously, you can't hear it. But, I mean, dang, who is 92? 92 got absolutely destroyed there. That was David Oki from Lagos, Nigeria, and a transfer from Abilene Christian. There we go. Nigerians, man. Dude, they always make good defensive linemen. So, yeah, I guess for me, I would just have the football gear to where you're actually firing off. Let's see, we'll keep it at full speed. Man, look at this. Dude just absolutely positively beats him off the football. This is Shaq McCroy. Out of any of the Arkansas offensive linemen through camp, he's the one that's actually made the most noise. This guy is absolutely positively massive. He is 6'8", 344, the transfer from Oregon, originally from Bessemer, Alabama. So this is an undersized defensive end type right here. So Frank Mulapalola, he's 274 pounds. So you have a 70-ish pound difference. All right, you want to know why football's force equals mass times acceleration? Even though you get a better get-off right here from, the transfer from, what high school or college did he come from here? From American Samoa, UTPB. I have no idea where that is. I do know he's an older player. You could see, even with the better get-off and the fact that he has leverage on him, I know it's cut off right here, he is jacking this guy up. But watch McCroy fight his way back into the rep and eventually get, Maripola on the ground here. That is, that's pretty crazy strength right there. So I know they call soccer the world game, but we had a Nigerian, a Samoan, and now we have a Dane here, right? Paski. I know I've always pronounced his last name wrong. Andreas Pask, whatever. From Denmark, the transfer from Eastern Michigan, obviously multiple years in the program. And you really need to see him dominate this matchup. I actually did some research on 52. He is from Arkadelphia, and he played high school quarterback. Last year, he played linebacker, and now he's at defensive end, which is one of the more insane position transitions from high school to college. And you can see he's just not learning the position. His hands are just way out of sorts. Rarely do you want your hand outside the elbow unless you're trying to do a pass rush move to get around him. You can see his head is just down, sloppy. The leverage here isn't the worst. He does fire off pretty low, but it's just out of control. And let's see if Andreas ends up winning this rep. And, oh yeah, that's just nasty. That's just nasty. We'll play full speed for you as well here. And, of course, this is going to end up being one of the more important players on the team. Hosky, after all the tight ends leaving, Ty Washington, 30 as well. Varkey's Gums, along with the other guy that went to Ole Miss. Ugh, that's just nasty. This is just nasty. You got a tight end type here going up against one of the better ends on this team. They wouldn't have given him a lower digit number if that wasn't the case. Ken Talley, the transfer from Michigan State. And I don't know who 83 is, and I don't think he wants me saying his name. That is absolute domination right there. All right, so we have Bubba Craig, the JUCO transfer, going up against number 6, Kavion Henderson. Now, a true freshman getting a single digit as a 3-star, you better be a playmaker. And it's cut off, but you see him get absolutely mauled there. And here we have a transfer from McNeese going up against a true freshman DT. What's his name again? 94 is Reginald Vaughn. This is actually a good rep. More so bad from the offensive line than anything. And here's going to be one of the more hyped players going into the season. Danny Solly, the transfer from BYU, and that's just gross. And that is some good leverage. And you can see that this rep actually is used with the ball. Man, that is just... Look at him just explode after Solly gets his hands on him. That's nasty. So what I would do if I were T. Will, if I have a guy like Solly, let's see, he is 3'19", 6'3", I would think about playing some 3-man Dave Aranda tight front type of defenses if you can get movement on the center quite like that. I mean, that is just nasty stuff. Let's talk about this Arkansas offensive and defensive line. You know, on the offensive side of the football, you trust Sam Pittman to find a way to get this group put together well. I didn't say that smoothly at all. But we know Carmona can just flat out play. He should be fine. But the other 4, I don't know. I feel shaky about it. Blackstock being an every down starter would very much concern me. You'll see right here them working on it looks like some outside zone right there at the tight end and 71 working together there. But I know McCroy is just the guy that everyone's interested in. Big body coming in from Oregon, coming back down to the South, obviously closer to his home state of Alabama. So I really don't know how this group is going to line up, but considering Arkansas does like its running backs, for Mike Washington and Braylon and those guys to be who you want them to be, you obviously are going to need some good blocking mixed in there as well. The good news is with Taylon Green, every mobile or at the very least elite mobile threat, which Taylon Green is, will automatically make your run blocking better. And also right on cue here for your offensive line to have success. If your other pieces on the outside can get open quickly, that helps out as well. But so much of this, like we have said in every other stream, is going to come down to Taylon Green. Now we get to the defensive side of the football, and this is what I was referencing. If I were coaching, I would have every single drill with my defensive linemen featuring this. This is what my defensive line coach did. Obviously, it didn't work because I'm a pundit instead of out here. But the truth is, this guy is just really freaking good. Quincy Rhodes, I'm just so high on him going into next season. The problem is you're going to need some other defensive ends to step up with Landon Jackson leaving out the door. You guys let me know who that will be. I know a lot of us are hoping it's the in-stater, Charlie Collins. But yeah, we'll see how this actually shapes out. What gets interesting, though, is I would like to see Arkansas get thick in their front. In other words, play a 3-man odd front with 2 4-eye techniques, the Aranda tight front, at least mix it in some. And in order to play that, you got to have size and you got to have the end nose tackle type of athletes. I do think Arkansas actually has some of these guys with the size that they have up front. I think Cameron Ball could play in that. Obviously, we talked about Ian Gefford, or did we? 95. One of the biggest SEC football players I've ever seen. He might be the biggest DT now that Watson from Florida is now in the NFL, number 21, who weighed 421 freaking pounds. I like this defensive tackle room. Danny Sally, we talked about him a little bit earlier as well. Man, you know, you have Xavier Story, who's a really good linebacker behind this defense. The truth, though, with Arkansas is that not only do they have a whole lot of transfers on this defense, they have a lot of unproven transfers who haven't really produced at their last stops, but now they are here. So it's just going to be so fascinating watching this defensive line and offensive line develop. I don't think I would consider either unit to be in the top half of the SEC, but you don't need them to be. You just need to make sure they're not in those bottom 2 or 3 slots. But, that could be in the range of outcomes because, as you can tell, I'm not just super high on either one of these units. So you guys let me know about the trench warfare, and we'll talk to you soon. Special shout out to our friends at Sequoia Dental. Book your dental appointment today in Northwest Arkansas at sequoiadental.com.